What is Ace Bailey doing? He has canceled his pre-draft visit to Philadelphia to meet with the 76ers on Wednesday night. He was supposed to meet with them on Friday. The Sixers had meals and workouts and flights all ready to go for Ace, but him and his team said, you know what? We're not coming. So we're going to dive into why he canceled his visit, what this means for his draft stock. Could Philadelphia still take him third overall? But before we get into all of that, I just want to say this has been one of the weirdest pre-draft processes I have seen from a top draft prospect in a very long time. He has not put a good image of himself forward to these NBA teams, and he could be sliding in the NBA draft because of that. Just seems he's getting some really strange advice from some of the people around him. Now, before we get into all the details on Ace Bailey skipping and canceling this visit with Philadelphia, I do got a challenge coming down from the bosses here at Chat Sports. They have challenged me to beat the amount of subscribers that we got last June, this June here on 76ers Now. So last year, 2024, picked up over 1,500 subs. That was a great month for the channel. And for those of you that were here last June, give me a real one down in the comments section. This June, though, not quite off to that same pace. So we need to catch up. We need to do better. I want to prove to the bosses that the people that watch this show and myself here are doing a great job. So hit that sub button. Join us here at 76ers Now. And if you do, you're a winner at the end of the day because you get free 76ers coverage all year long. We'll be live for the NBA draft, live for free agency. You won't want to be anywhere else to get your Sixers news and rumors, so hit that sub button. So some more details here on Ace Bailey canceling his workout with Philadelphia. Was slated to fly to Philly on Friday for dinner. They were going to have breakfast as well. Was going to do a workout, but he canceled that late on Wednesday night. Now, according to reports, the Sixers have yet to completely rule out drafting Ace Bailey third overall, despite his refusal to visit, although they were confused, obviously, by him making this decision. And apparently, the reason for him canceling the visit, Ace Bailey wanted a promise from Philadelphia, presumably a promise that they would take him third overall, and they have refused to give him that promise. I don't understand what advice he's been getting from his agents, from his circle. Who's been telling him that this is the correct way to go about the draft process? I get believing in yourself, right? And thinking that you're one of the top guys in this draft. Every prospect is going to believe that they are the top guy in the draft and they can get to the NBA and show what they can do. But man, just get to the NBA first. Get on a team and then prove that you're the guy. I hate this idea of trying to control what you're really not supposed to be able to control and dictate on your terms what kind of situation you want to be in and what type of team you want to go to. And to cancel a visit to Philadelphia after all this stuff that's already been going on with Ace Bailey and to say, if you don't promise that you'll draft me, I'm not visiting. I mean, that's just a bad look on you as a player. Now, he could get the NBA and this could all just kind of go by the wayside and he could be a great player, sure. But this draft process, I just don't understand the way him and his team are going about it. Now, in case you've missed it, this isn't the first instance of Ace Bailey canceling workouts. He actually has not met with a single team in this pre-draft process outside of interviews at the Combine. He has not gone to a single team's facility, even declining workouts with teams like the Washington Wizards, like the Charlotte Hornets, who wanted to meet with him because he felt like he was a top 3 guy. There was no way he's sliding to 4, 5, 6, or even past that. Well, now he just might. He also has said, and his team has said, he wants to go to a situation where he can get heavy minutes and plenty of shots right away. Look, Ace, I understand you think you're the guy and this great scorer, number 1 option, but you got to prove it, man. You can't just come out and immediately say, I want to be the guy right away. It takes some time. Now, Jonathan Givony, ESPN draft expert, broke this story late on Wednesday night and had some more intel on Ace Bailey, saying the Sixers have not ruled out selecting Bailey despite his refusal to visit. The team has scouted him extensively throughout the season since he plays at nearby Rutgers in Piscataway, New Jersey. And they did interview him in Chicago at the NBA Draft Combine. The team will have final discussions on who to select in the coming weeks and is unlikely to move down in the draft order, sources said. So a lot to break down there from Givony. I'll say this first, keep in mind, and this goes back to what he said about the Sixers still considering taking Ace Bailey despite him canceling the visit. The Sixers did not hold workouts for Tyrese Maxey or Jared McCain before drafting them. Obviously, different situations because it's not like they had visits that were scheduled and then canceled and backed out like Ace Bailey did here. So it is a little bit different. But just because he didn't work out with the team doesn't mean Morey is definitely not going to draft said player. But on the same note, there is a chance that the Sixers, maybe they really did get rubbed the wrong way by Ace Bailey. Even if they did, I don't think they would come out and say that they're completely out on Ace Bailey. They're not going to draft him. It makes sense that they're still leaving it out, at least in the media, that he's still an option at number 3 because they don't want other teams to know their strategy. And especially in the case of a trade down, I know Gavoni said that they aren't expected to look to trade down, but I still think it's in the cards. One, it just makes sense for the value, but also you don't want to let teams know that you don't like Ace Bailey because if you want to trade down, and if you're telling teams that they don't want to trade down, then the value, you'll get less value for teams moving up because they know that you don't love the players there at number 3. If you still say, we like where we're at, we don't want to move down, then you can maybe get a little bit more value out of a team looking to move up. But if they know that you want to get out of there, you want to get out of that spot, then they're probably not going to give up as much because they think you might be a little bit more desperate. Be honest with me here. Would you still take Ace Bailey at number 3 with everything that's going on with him trying to dictate where he's going and canceling this draft visit? Are you in or out on Ace Bailey? Give me a Y if you would still take him at number 3, or an N if you're saying, no way, I'm going somewhere else. I do not want Ace Bailey at number 3. I'll give you my answer here in just a moment. But first, great deal that I got to tell you guys with our friends at Fanatics on this 76ers polo shirt. It was $85 originally, but it is on clearance, on sale for just $33. That is over 60% off. It's a perfect thing to have as summer's approaching, whether you're going out on a date, going out in the town, hanging out with the boys, or you're going golfing, whatever you want to do, maybe wear it to work as well. Now's the perfect time to get this polo. Again, was 85, now just 33. Go to chatsports.com/76polo. I'll have that in the comments and description of today's show. Again, chatsports.com/76polo. Me personally, I would still take Ace Bailey. I know people are going to be all up in arms about it, saying, man, how could you still want to go get this guy after all these antics and everything he's doing pre-draft? Look, I'm just a fan of the talent, and I believe in the 76ers building that. Look, you bring him in, you can kind of put all this behind you, and you can just focus on the player he is and developing him because his upside, if Ace reaches it, man, it's, again, like a Paul George level player, in my opinion. Someone who can score from all over the floor. I think some of his IQ deficiencies that he has on the court can come along a little bit. You can get more out of him as a player. He's my favorite player to pick at number 3 overall. Now, Brett Siegel, who covers the NBA for Clutch Points, had this to say on Twitter, I'm told the Sixers have yet to promise any prospect with a number 3 pick, despite apparent increased momentum for VJ Edgecombe. All options remain on the table for Philadelphia with the draft next Wednesday. So really, we don't know what direction the Sixers are going to go in. VJ Edgecombe has been the betting favorite for about a week or so with everything going on with Ace Bailey. But look, the Sixers aren't going to make a promise to anybody, which is why I don't get Ace canceling the workout, because the Sixers wouldn't promise him to be the pick at number 3. I kind of thought this visit would determine a little bit what direction they go in. Obviously, the visit is not happening anymore. And then Siegel with more on the Sixers draft strategy here, saying the Sixers did offer multiple first-round picks in addition to the 3rd overall pick to the Spurs to move up one spot and select Dylan Harper, but Spurs didn't budge. A big decision faces Philly with a number 3 pick. Now, we knew the Sixers were interested in moving up to number 2. We had heard that in previous reports, but we hadn't heard that an actual firm offer had been made. Clearly, Philly was very invested and very interested in moving up to number 2 to get Dylan Harper if they're offering multiple first-round picks on top of that number 3 overall pick. What that tells me, the Sixers are not in love with anybody at number 3, and this kind of goes back to this whole Ace Bailey conversation and him canceling the workout. They must not feel super excited with the possibility of taking Ace Bailey or even taking someone like a VJ Edgecombe or Trey Johnson for that matter at number 3, because they did offer multiple first-round picks and they do really want to move up to take Dylan Harper. Now, I get it because Dylan Harper is really a tier above everybody else after him in that tier with Cooper Flag, but man, it really does tell me that they aren't absolutely in love with anybody at number 3. And so even though it's being reported that they do not want to move down in the draft, I still think a trade down with the Pelicans just makes way too much sense because the Sixers, they can move down, pick up a win now asset, and still have a number 7 overall pick. And the Pelicans, it's been reported that they are in love with Ace Bailey, and it's a good spot. He could go to get a bunch of shots right away and help his development and get a bunch of minutes like he wants to. And New Orleans, again, they just made a trade with the Indiana Pacers to get the number 23 overall pick in this draft, loading up on more ammunition in this year's draft to potentially use in a trade-up. It just makes way too much sense with the Pelicans' interest in Ace Bailey. And who knows, maybe Ace even canceled his workout because he wants to go to the New Orleans Pelicans. So I floated this trade idea out there multiple times. Makes sense for both sides, right? Sixers get the 7th overall pick and the 23rd overall pick in this year's draft from the Pelicans and a tremendous player in Herb Jones in exchange for 3 35 Kelly Oubre, Andre Drummond. I think this trade makes sense for both sides. Again, Pelicans are reportedly very high on Ace Bailey. Sixers can move down to 7, get a player like a Con Kneppel, and then still get another good player at 23 and add a win now piece in Herb Jones. To me right now, it does seem like it's either going to be VJ or they're going to trade down. Again, if it were up to me, I would still take Ace at number 3, but the more and more I'm hearing, it just doesn't seem likely that's the direction the Sixers are going to go in. So really, it's are they going to take VJ Edgecombe at number 3, or are they going to trade down out of the pick, take somebody like a Con Knuppel at number 7? We will see. Predict it for me. Who will the Sixers take in the 2025 NBA draft, whether it's Ace Bailey or VJ Edgecombe at number 3, or whether that's somebody else at number 7, like a Con Kneppel, like maybe a Kaman Malawach? Let me know down in the comment section. And of course, do not forget to hit that sub button. As I mentioned earlier, we will be live for the 2025 NBA draft next Wednesday and Thursday. And any moves that might happen, because it could get crazy for the Sixers, we will have you covered. So with that sub button, and as always, let's go Sixers.